Alright, what's up YouTube fam? I'm just making some beef jerky here. Cutting some thin slices, real thin, and we're gonna use the Yakut series that I make. So I've been cutting a lot of meat lately, especially red meat. And you know, for dinner I'll fry some minced meat, but all this red meat, like if I'd hunt deer or moose or whatever, I turn most of it into jerky so I can just, you know, have some raw meat. Now, this is a single bevel Yakut, and lately, because I've been cutting so much meat, I noticed that most of my knives are they're either not, for this purpose, you know, they're not super tall enough or super long enough. This one's a little short still, but I thought this would make this is beef, so this would make a great, just a demonstration video. And the reason, of course, the shape is the way it is it's just, this shape is just really nice for cutting thin slices of meat. So I've always been a really big fan of this upward swoop on my kitchen knives. See, if you want to cut some other stuff than just meat, if you know, you got maximum height and you got that straight edge. Of course, it's single bevel, so it cuts like a dream. And then the nice thing, of course, when it's like this is especially useful for meat. Very, very useful for meat. Because you see, I can push the blade forwards. Oops, I went a little too thin there. That'll be fine. Again, it's just jerky, so we're not... I should have showed the part where I removed the silver meat from the back. But it's a dream. You can just sort of stick the blade under. Again, I'm not a butcher, so I already took it all off. But it's nice because you play around with the meat, like you sliding that knife underneath everything. So of course, because it's single bevel, it just sort of slices right through. I'm cutting with the grain. I prefer my jerky to be with the grain. Just something about it when it's like super tough and chewy that I like. Again, you can see why I would like to make longer knives. But another neat thing, of course, when it's 5160 is you do have very good edge retention, but also it's very easy to hone up and sharpen, and if you need to strop it during the day, it'll take the strop really well. The thing is, this Yakut style of making kitchen knives like this, I can't really replicate that with any other steels. So it's just the nature of the steels. Much easier to straighten after quenching, much easier to cold forge and do these kind of things. Again, you see how that bullnose tip it's perfect for this task. And I got a really chunky handle on there. That makes a huge difference with what we're doing here. And the height makes a difference as well. It's nice to be able to be above the height of the meat. But so when it comes to this Yakut series, I will definitely be making much longer and taller ones. See, there's a thing with the market right now where most of the manufacturers / makers, they're limited in their raw materials. They get these bars from the factories, and they're sort of limited in height. That's why you see sort of nakiris that are not very tall anymore. It's because of these sort of limitations, and there is somewhat of a demand for these kind of custom, I guess you could say. Man, I just love this knife so much. This is actually probably quite quickly becoming one of my favorite knives. Now, it's not for me, it is for sale, but I just wanted to do some demonstration videos here. Cutting some really thin pieces of meat. I think I could go thinner, but I don't have enough hooks to hang all the jerky, so I might have to make more hooks. And there's not much space on my rack for that much meat. Usually what I like to do is make really long pieces of jerky. Now mind you, this was like 1.5 kilos of beef. It was on special, and paid like $30 or something for it. And you know, I'm making here like this is a lot of jerky. I mean, a pack of jerky will have maybe 2 pieces like this in the inside, or maybe 3, and that'll be €6 for basically 3 slices of jerky in a pack, and they're not even that good. So, but the trick with jerky really is you just need some kind of fan to blow air over it. I don't put any spices on top. What I do is I dip them all in red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, and mixed with a lot of super hot sauce. And then all the excess stuff I give to the dog or the chickens. All this like meat that's difficult to cut. It is possible to actually dry like a really chunky, thick piece as well. Oh, there's also Worcestershire sauce in the mix. So the mix is Worcestershire sauce, apple cider or red wine vinegar, and then a lot of hot sauce. You know, some kind of... I just got some random stuff from the store. The funny thing is, it doesn't take long for your taste buds to become almost immune. It's much to hot sauces. So I think this I'll give to the chickens. They fight over this stuff. So again, this is a really, really nice blade shape for the processing, for the work that we're doing here. Just a really, like, overall fantastic design. I just keep them simple for production reasons, so it stays sharp throughout the entire day. Like, this is more than enough hardness on a steel. And if you need to strop it, it's very easy. If you need to sharpen it, it's again very easy. The steel is spring steel, but you're not going to find, you don't find really thick bars and really thick chunks of metal that allow you to make kind of this tall and this bulky and this large knives around. Unless it's spring steel. I got all my neighbors dumping their, old truck springs and tractor springs here. I got the scrap yard giving me all their springs, so I got plenty and plenty and plenty of spring steel. Really, really quite a fun blade design. I like to try and be innovative. I like to try and be somewhat unique with my knife products, because it's one thing to be a knife maker, but if you're going to be making knives that everybody else is making, it's going to be difficult to compete. So it's very important for me to do things like this and to have something that I can produce that is unique with my own taste. It's recognizable to my brand, but also something that I can master over the years. A product, a type of knife that I get better at making over the years that nobody else is necessarily making. So the wood here comes from the trees outside. We grow curly birch. The ring, that's not a stainless steel ring here at the front. That's just regular iron seamless from the junkyard. So, everything here is pretty much local produce, and it's forged by hand. I don't have a power hammer. I'm trying to save up for something like that, but yeah. So we got our pieces of jerky here. I'm gonna hang them up. I'm gonna first douse them in that sauce. Give the chickens their little crumbs here. Get some nice meat. And maybe in a few days. It only takes 2-3 days in this humidity, so it's pretty humid outside. So I just got a big fan blowing over all the meat that's hanging. It takes literally less than like 3 days for all this meat to be ready to eat. It's very quick process to make jerky. So I recommend you watch some videos and try it out for yourselves. And yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day.